Hey everybody, Charles Calhoun, aka the Shade Tree Pro, here at the beautiful Grand Vista Marriott here in Orlando, Florida, where I own and operate my teaching business under the Shade Tree, teaching the top-down lift and shift Y swing. Um, People, I had an opportunity to watch the APGA tournament at Torrey Pines. And then, it was a good watch. I actually recorded it. It's a good watch because I know there's a lot of young brothers out there with a lot of talent. And I know it's a lot of young brothers up and coming that's got a lot of talent, no different than everybody else. Now, one thing I used to think about, I used to ask myself a question, okay, what is the reason for the APGA tour in comparison to all the tours that's out there, blah, 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 in essence. So like anything else, you sit back, you think, and you take a look and you try to get an understanding of, what are the possibilities? Well, and you got to forgive me because I'm outside. What are the possibilities? Well, when you look all around the world, in a sense, each culture is teaching their own in the regards. And that's no knock on any teacher or any instructionals, none of that stuff. But all I know is that a gentleman once told me a long time ago, he said, Charles, if you don't make it in golf, he said, remember this. He said, the power is in the teaching. You have got to have the ability to be able to teach because the teaching is what's going to make people better and it's going to keep drawing it in. And it just can't be that you teach golf. You have to know what it is that you're talking about. And that's why it's taken me years to develop, the top-down swing system and philosophy. And now I've turned it into the Y swing, which is, it's just been successful. But as I was watching the APGA and I was listening to the CEO talk about, the 16 years it has been there, and and yes, it has done good things. Anything is better than nothing. I mean, there's no question about that. But only concern that I have is that we have, from my viewpoint, and man, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think is that. There's been an APGA Tour player yet that's had a sustainability to out on the PGA Tour or something, or actually that's went to the ranks that's actually out there staying, making a living, whatever that we see on Sunday or whatever that's really challenging for titles. I don't know. I haven't seen that, and and maybe I'm wrong on that. But one thing that I know for sure, and I truly believe this, for the APGA Tour to go to the next level, and I'm not speaking just for me, I'm speaking from knowledge and experience, and I've got 32 years of it, is that the APGA, no different than the Koreans, no different than the Chinese, no different than the Europeans, the APGA Tour needs a strong African American teacher. And I'm not talking about somebody just because you've been put inside of Golf Digest or something of that nature. I'm talking about a teacher to where that really knows what they're talking about, that really understands it, really gets it. And here's why I say that. Now, I'm not saying this just to toot my horn, because you all know who I am. I'm saying this because the only way that you're going to be able to connect the APGA to where it is, I mean, it is really taken serious in a sense, and not saying that it's not, but, I've had some people say some things to me that I don't want to get into, but really taking it serious to where, whether it's the PGA Tour, the LPGA Tour, the European Tour, go, whoa, that's mighty. And that has to come from the teacher, because the teacher is that connection, as I said, to the player that gets them the ability to be able to learn and go to that next level, for whatever reason, because you have to have a golf swing to play. And more importantly, the better you understand your golf swing and it works, it will make you a better player. And not only that, it builds confidence. So why is it that the APGA must have an African American teacher? Well, just go look at the history from Tiger Woods to Hurl Vonner to many of them out there. There's no brothers teaching these guys. And that ain't no slap in nobody's face, because if you're not getting the job done and these guys, and you've not made yourself an option, then you can't be mad of why, certain situations are not what they are. Well, I put myself in a position to make myself an option, especially with my books, my things that I do. Now, you may not agree with it, but that doesn't mean it's wrong. You all seen the success that I'm having at it. But you need to have an African American teacher that is willing and have the willingness, and not only just fearless, but they have the willingness to say, okay, Butch or whoever it is, okay, when we sit down at the table, man, I'm going to give you all the respect in the world that you deserve in a sense for what you accomplished. And there is nothing wrong. And my hat's off to you. And hey, I wish that I could have accomplished the things that you have accomplished in there. But when we talk man to man about the golf swing and what makes a golf swing work, now we're on equal playing fields, because regardless of what you tell me, then I have to have the ability and the strength or whatever, not to just sit back and accept what you say, which happens a lot with brothers. Let's just be honest. Sometimes we don't seek the knowledge for ourselves, so we just accept what happened. You all know, under the Shade Tree Pro, I do not accept what happened. That's why I've written my own philosophy. So, like, for an example, if I sat down with any of the best, it doesn't matter what they define as the best, all I'm gonna do is pull out my Dead Fingers book and I'm gonna say, okay, let's talk about the grip. And let's go from there. Since the grip is our greatest connection and our only connection to the golf club, then let's go into that. Let's talk about what it is. Let's talk about why I created the Dead Fingers. And the thing is, why you need that African American teacher, because you've got to make these people turn their heads around and start paying attention to you and start wondering what it is that you're doing and why is it that you're creating the successes that you're creating. That is very, very important. And in my opinion, and I do have that right for my opinion, to me, that is the only way that you're going to truly link, the APGA and really get to where people really pay attention to what's really going out there and putting all that together. Because the simple reason, as I said before, and I'll say it again, when I have teachers that's just teaching the same thing that all of the other individuals are out there teaching, then those people, they're not going to look. And they shouldn't just look because you're black or whatever the deal is. They shouldn't. They should look at you because you are strong in the knowledge of the subject and you can teach them something that they don't know that actually works. And that's when you get power. That's when you get people to recognize what it is you are. That's when people start respecting and looking. And that's teacher, when you get that teacher that those people are looking at like that, then all of a sudden now it gives you the ability to be able to teach others, young African Americans that want to go into the PGA of America, and you walking in there proud with confidence because you know the information that you have is of value, and whether you black, green, yellow, purple, the information is solid. The information does exactly what it's supposed to do. And that's the value of having an African American teacher that is a representation of the APGA tour, whether it's doing clinics, whatever it is, where you get in corporate America even to look and say, hey, wait a minute, this guy is really teaching something. This guy is teaching me something that I don't know. Because right now, I'm going to be honest as I possibly can. I don't think the industry looks at African American teachers and think that they can teach them something that they don't know. Well, I know one person that's for absolute sure they damn sure look at, and because I'm constantly teaching them things that they don't know. And the biggest thing that I know is from, the Dead Fingers grip. I mean, you just can't get around that. The 3-body setup that's more conducive to an athletic mindset. And again, the things that I talk about is conducive to sports, not just golf. I just happen to be, golf, and golf is what I love. But this is very, very important. And I think it is truly that link. Now, many out there I already know are not going to agree with me, and that's fine and dandy. But if you don't agree with me, then hey, you know what? Make your video and come up with your understanding, your solution. Because mine, I always look for solution. And my biggest solution that I said to get the APGA and get black golf on the level that it should be, when it's not just, I'm happy that I'm part of the PGA or whatever, but what are you giving other than just adding to the $100 billion a year industry with marketing and all that, which is fine and dandy. You could take it to a next level, and the mindset you should be thinking about is, if the industry in itself is 100 million, then I know as black people, we're not a big force in the industry. How can we get that to the next level, to where now it takes it to where it's 200 billion a year? The opportunities are there. And if you don't prepare yourself, in a sense, to teach the knowledge in itself, then all of a sudden, you start losing a lot. Now, one of the things I talked about was back in the day, which I never had a chance to meet him, understand him, who him, know him, just based on what people talking about Ted Rose. They said Ted Rose taught a lot of the African American players back in the day, and they said Ted Rose was a phenomenal teacher. But none of that history was ever written down. That's why one of my foremost things that I thought about is to make sure that I write my information down. And hey, I make a good living off of the words that I put down to print, because people are having success with it. And as I said, my book, Dead Fingers in Middle Wrist in Sports, my top down swing philosophy, you all are paying attention. They're all starting to talk about how this comes down, because the simple fact is, you can't swing the golf club without the hands, and you can't get it up. You can't hit a golf ball unless you get the club up and you bring the club down. And more importantly, under no circumstances anatomically can the hips swing the golf club. It's anatomically impossible. So, as I conclude here, as I said, the power to move the APGA to the next level, to get that connection, you have to have a strong African American teacher that can teach the industry teachers something they don't know. So when they look at you as a high level of respect and understand, not just because you're a nice guy. Y'all already know how I roll, but they look at you because the knowledge that you have obtained is beneficial to them and their clients as well. And that's the honor and respect that you get, as a teacher. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for approval. What I'm looking for is the honor and respect because of the work. And everybody knows how I work. Hey, this is Charles Calhoun, aka the Shade Tree Pro. And listen, people, if you haven't had a chance and you'd like to join my membership and learn more about my Y swing and the things I talk about, because I said in my subscription, in my membership, $9.99 a month, what I am doing is I am showing you how I am building the swing. I haven't put up a whole bunch of videos, but as I said, I want to keep you working on these things, how the head goes, how to make your unit turn, in a sense. And one of the best ones I talk about is how you truly set the club and the reasons for doing so. It's a lot of good stuff in that membership channel. Don't forget, $9.99 a month, less than $120 a year. Hey, everybody, this is Charles Calhoun, aka the Shade Tree Pro. And Les Brown always said, go where there is no path and leave a trail. And that's what I'm doing with Top Down. And you all have a blessed day. Charles Calhoun, aka the Shade Tree Pro. Always good golfing.